What's going on, Raider Nation? And welcome back to another episode of the Raider Critique. This is the post-game review for the Raiders versus the Denver Donkeys in Denver, Week 6, 2021. Man, this was a good week. Let's get this episode started. So what's going on, Raider Nation? And yes, it is victory week. We beat the Denver Broncos 34-24 on their home turf. The score was close, but let's be real, this game was never close. We dominated on every aspect of the ball. We made it extremely uncomfortable for Teddy Bridgewater, and we made it extremely hard for the Denver Donkeys to create a running game. Now, they did break a few good runs on us. Hey, thanks, everybody, for stopping by. So anyway, here's the stats, man. Derek Carr went 18-27 for 341 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Running, we still had issues running the ball, but it was enough to keep their defense on their heels and to keep them honest. Josh Jacobs ran the ball 16 times, 53 yards, 1 touchdown. Average was 3.3 yards per carry. Kenyon Drake, 4 carries for 34 yards with also 1 touchdown, 8.5 yards a carry. Jalen Richard, 1 carry for no yards. Derek Carr, 2 for -1. Receiving, Henry Ruggs, 3 receptions for 97 yards, 1 touchdown on 4 targets. Brian Edwards, 2 receptions, 67 yards. 1 was a one-handed grab that was absolutely beautiful, and that was also on 4 targets. Darren Waller showed up to play today, 5 receptions, 59 yards on 5 targets. He didn't have a single drop. Kenyon Drake, who scored a touchdown for us, by the way, on a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch. 2 receptions, 39 yards, 1 touchdown on 2 targets. Hunter Renfrow, 3 receptions, 36 yards on 5 targets. Josh Jacobs, 1 for 29. Foster Moreau, 1 for 11. Jalen Richard, 1 for 3. Willie Snead, 0 for 0. Alec Ingold, 0 for 0. They both were targeted once. Fumbles. Derek Carr had a fumble, but he didn't lose it, which was a great thing. And Denzel Perryman had a fumble recovery from a forced fumble by Solomon Thomas. So that should tell you how this game went. If you didn't get to watch it, it's a shame. I was watching it with the Austin and San Antonio and Fort Hood Black Hole chapters, all down in Austin. Brandon Facyson, man, this guy we just picked up from the Chargers practice squad, he had an interception and 2 pass deflections. Jonathan Abrams' interception was magnifique, man. You saw this guy just come flying out right in front, jumped up, caught the ball over his head. It looked like he should have been playing wide receiver. Trayvon Moehrig recorded his first interception as a pro and went 35 yards with it. He also had 2 pass deflections. Casey Hayward had a pass deflection. Now, it doesn't show in the stats, man, but Casey Hayward was sticking to his receiver all game long. Dude, they did not want to go that way with the ball, and that's why you see all these other guys producing, because they're not going to Casey Hayward's side of the field. Corey Littleton had a pass deflection. Max Crosby had a pass deflection. We're going to be talking more about him here in a minute. And we're going to move on to defense. Corey Littleton And Jonathan Abram, 7 tackles, 4 assists. Jonathan Abram with 7 tackles, 2 assists. Corey Littleton had a half a sack. Denzel Perryman, 6 tackles, 5 assists. Nate Hobbs, which, as you could tell, like I was saying, they weren't really going over to Casey Hayward's side of the field. He had 6 tackles, 4 assists. Casey Hayward, 3 tackles. Brandon Facyon, 2 tackles, 1 assist. And, of course, he also had that interception. Max Crosby, 2 tackles, 4 assists. 3 of those were sacks. And it said 1 tackle for a loss. I'm taking that was probably a run play that he stopped in the backfield. I'm sure it was, because our defensive line was in the backfield making Teddy Bridgewater sweat bullets all game long. Roderick Turner had 2 tackles. Amik Robertson had 2 tackles, 1 assist. Trayvon Morig had 2 tackles, 1 assist, along with that interception. KJ Wright, 1 tackle, 3 assists. Quentin Jefferson, 1 tackle, 3 assists, and a sack. Carl Nassib had 1 tackle. Solomon Thomas had 1 tackle. Cleveland Farrell had 1 tackle on a brilliant run play, by the way. I was glad that he was there to stop it. And then Damian Square had 0 tackles, 2 assists, but a half a sack. Nick Kwiatkowski, 1 assist. Yannick Ngakoue, 1 assist. Dalen Levitt, 1 assist. And Keyshawn Nixon, 1 assist. Daniel Carlson was 2 for 3 on field goals. 50 was his long. He was 4 for 4 on extra points. A.J. Cole again bringing down the big leg, man. 4 punts. His average was 57 yards. 2 of those were inside the 20. And his long was 71. Punt returns, Hunter Renfrow, 1 return, 5 yards on the average. So that's the stats for us, which is great. Now, I don't normally ever go and do this, but I'm going to go do this just to kind of give you a little bit of insight on the game if you happen to miss it. Teddy Bridgewater had to throw the football 49 times, and that's because they couldn't run the ball. He went 35 of 49 for 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Javonte Williams, 11 carries, 53 yards, no touchdowns. His average was 4.8. Melvin Gordon, 10 carries, 50 yards, average of 5. And Teddy Bridgewater had 2 carries for 9 yards at 4.5. Noah Fant had 9 receptions for 97 yards, 1 touchdown. He was targeted 11 times. Cortland Sutton, 8 times, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. He was targeted 14 times. Tim Patrick, 3 for 42 and 1 touchdown. There's their 3 touchdowns. They had to throw all 3 of those touchdowns. And you hear the numbers I just spit off. Noah Fant, known tight end, always down the middle, 9 times. He had to catch the ball off 11 targets to get 97 yards. That's an average of basically 10, maybe 12 yards of reception. Then you had Cortland Sutton, 8 for 94. And then Tim Patrick, to basically round it off, 3 for 42. Those were their 3 guys that had the touchdowns. Kendall Hinton, 5 for 37. Melvin Gordon, 3 for 23. Eric Saubert, 3 for 23. Javonte Williams, 3 for 15. And Mike Boone, 1 for 3. They list Teddy Bridgewater here as 1 fumble and 1 fumble lost. That was from the forced fumble that Quentin Jefferson, I believe, was the one who jarred that ball loose. Interceptions, they didn't have anybody. They just had 1 guy who got a pass deflection, of course. And then defense, man, they don't have a single dude on here that has more than 4 tackles. They had 2 sacks all game long, and 1 of those tackles was for a loss. Bryce Callahan was the one who got that, and he had 3 tackles. And as many times as we scored, Their kickoff returner was 4 returns, 16.5 yards average, 0 touchdowns, and his longest was 23. So there you have it. If you really go over the stats, 34-24, we really should have been ahead by a whole lot more and should have stayed up by a whole lot more, but we tend to do this. And I don't care because it's a win. I do not care because it's a win, especially with everything that we went through this week, everything this team went through this week, everything that everybody had to go through in this whole debacle of, I'm going to start coining this as Emailgate, because that's exactly what this is. This is all just one big heap of crap, and everything's going to come out sooner or later, or at least everything's going to come out of what they want us to know. I gotta give out Gameballs. I see that, I could go with one player of the game, but I can't choose just one player. I can't choose just one person of the player of this game, because it was a combined team effort, and everybody deserves to be on this list. I'm just going to list the ones that I felt were game changers in this game. Doesn't mean that I'm taking away from any of the other positions, because there definitely should have been more people on this list than what I'm about to list. But this is just my take on it. It's just an opinion. But I gotta hand out Gameballs. And through everything that this team had to go through this week with an interim coach, our coach being fired, our label, our brand, our team in the news for all the wrong reasons, the Vegas odds who were claiming us as the underdogs, everything was stacked up against this football team, and I was talking about it last video. We were actually going to see what this team was made of. We had to see what this team was made of, and this was the week that we were going to see it. And boy, did they come through. Everything looked great. The play calling, who's calling the plays? Because this is absolutely wonderful, whoever's calling these plays. Whether it's Derek Carr, whether it's Greg Olsen, whether it's Bisaccia himself. Whoever is calling these plays, this is gold. This is the kick in the ass that we needed. Because this offense started quick and they ended quick. We started going down the field, scored a touchdown on our opening drive. We were looking like the team that we expected to see from the beginning of the season after we went 3-0, because that was the team that we were seeing before. And it's great to see this team just come together to be able to play this game and play it efficiently and play with the chip on their shoulder, making sure they're not going to go up to Denver and get smacked around. This was an outstanding performance by everybody on this team, everybody on the coaching staff. The books were all stacked against us. Everybody had the odds stacked against this team, and we came out and throttled the dog shit out of them from the opening whistle to the ending bell, slacking off here and there every once in a while because we knew we already had the game in the bag. It was an outstanding performance. And Raider Nation, we should definitely be happy about this team, the adversity of this team to be able to go through this. And it's the guy, who had to do this the most is Rich Bisaccia. He comes in as an interim coach, never coached a game as a head coach a day in his life. This is his first go-around as a head coach. The pressure is mounting and sitting on his shoulders. He has to trust in his offensive coordinator and Greg Olsen that he's going to call the right plays, run the right scheme, do everything that he needs to do, along with Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator, that he's going to be on point. Now, when it comes to the defense, I don't think that any of us knew or even thought that this defense was not going to show up today. They definitely showed up against Denver. How many turnovers? I think we had 4 turnovers this game, and 3 of those were picks, and Bridgewater got his ass lit up like a Christmas tree and dropped the damn ball, and we recovered it. This is how you play Raider football. I'm extremely happy about this, but my number one game ball is definitely going to Rich Bisaccia because of all the adversity he had to go through and getting this team ready. Whether he left it to Derek Carr or not, I'm giving him a game ball because whatever decisions he made, they were the right ones. The offensive playbook looked lively. It's crazy how when you change the head coach, the things that Raider Nation wants under, stipulations, because a lot of you guys want Derek Carr gone, but under stipulations what Raider Nation wants, we're starting to get. We knew the play calling was lackluster. It's all over Twitter. It's all over tape. If us fans know about it, then you know it's an issue because we can sit there and judge it every time when John Gruden would come out. Okay, it's 1st and 10. We're going to run the ball to the left. We're going to run the ball up the middle. And it's not going to be nothing snazzy. We're not going to throw no tosses or nothing. Rich Bisaccia over here telling Greg Olsen, hey, just run whatever you want. And Greg Olsen's like, watch this, man, screen pass. When was the last time you saw the Raiders run a screen pass? It's been forever. It's got to be at least 4 years since the last time I saw a screen pass thrown to one of our running backs. There you go. Mix it up some. Mix it up. That's what they did. They threw it all around. They mixed it all around. And Greg Olsen and Derek Carr literally shredded that defense, that Denver defense that's supposed to be really good, just picked them apart, man. Picked them straight apart to where our receivers were getting, just like their receivers, getting mad numbers, but Derek Carr throwing the ball a whole lot less, which means he's airing the ball down the field. We're killing their secondary. And I mean, shout out to the offensive line too. You guys did well today. But you guys aren't my second pick for the game ball. I gotta give it to Derek. Because Derek helped coach this team, helped bring this team, took that captain status. He put it right there above his heart. And he took this team and led them to victory. Made hardly any mistakes. He did an excellent job pinpointing the ball down the field. Look at his numbers. He was 18 of 27. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 341 yards. This is the Derek Carr that we saw in week 1, week 2, week 3. The gunslinger slinging the ball down the field. So now with Gruden gone, Derek Carr has been unleashed and let go to go ahead and change the play at the line of scrimmage. And Ole's not going to complain, but Ole's just probably sitting there doing the job. How much do you guys want to bet says it might just be Derek Carr calling these plays? He understands the system that well, and Ollie could be just right there helping along. Either way, man, this team is on fire. Now, the Derek Carr, man, definitely gets a game ball for this. He definitely gets a game ball for this because without him, if there's anybody else at the helm, I don't think we win this game. So my third game ball, my third and final game ball, which it can't go to just one person because these guys are the reason why we're even in these games to begin with. And that's the defense, baby! The defense is wrecking shop. They are terrorizing quarterbacks. Our defensive line is getting in there. I think we hurried Bridgewater 17 times, and we lit him up at least 5 times. I don't know how many quarterback hits, but he was on his back an awful lot. He was getting lit up like a Christmas tree. He was uncomfortable back there the whole time. And you see what happens when you make a quarterback uncomfortable back there. Literally, you'd be like, hike, and here comes the whole Raiders defensive line. Already in the backfield, he doesn't even have time to take 2 steps back before Crosby or Jefferson or even Ngakoue or possibly even Nassib are in his face, getting ready to drag him down to the ground, whether it was Phylon. All of our defensive linemen, the guys that we're rotating in and out, we are definitely getting to the quarterback. We are a lot better at getting to the quarterback with our defensive line this year than we've been in so many years. And that's just the first level. The second level, we got Denzel Perryman. We got Corey Littleton, Nick Kwiatkowski, KJ Wright. Man, our second level looks great too, and they're lighting people up also. So if they get into the second level, whackety cracko. Lucky homeboy doesn't get pulled out on a stretcher with some of these hits. And then if you do happen to get by all those guys, then you got to worry about Morig and Abram lighting your ass up if you come down the middle. Telling you, man, this defense is built like a shit brick house. This defense is strong, and the more that they learn and the more that they come together, the better they're going to be. And this defense is absolutely terrifying. I would be fearing having to face this defense if next week is the Eagles. And they've had a lot of woes. They've had a lot of woes on offense. I'm pretty sure that our defense, our secondary, our linebackers, our defensive linemen is not that is not a squad they want to see. And that's why they're definitely getting a game ball, because they kept us in this game. They may have gave up some points. They may have slacked just a little bit, but everybody needs a break. I'm not going to give anybody any excuses, but everybody needs a break. I don't care as long as we win. It's a lot better to win than what it feels like when we lose. And most of the time we lose on mental mistakes, but we didn't have no mental mistakes this game. And just think, Raider Nation, if we can play like this all the time, we've got the Eagles. Then we've got, I believe, the Chiefs. Who's after the Eagles? I know we've got the Eagles, and then we've got the Giants. And I can't remember, there was another team in there that I believe that we're going up against also before we reach the Chiefs. We could easily win these games. We could easily win these games. And I want to see them win on Thanksgiving too. But I think this team is definitely, I asked the question, were they mentally tough? Man, this game proved they're mentally tough. And not only are they mentally tough, but they're a force to be reckoned with. Now, this was in the news. I read it today. And there's also some other news. I'm going to mention it. I didn't make a backdrop of it, and I just got the news right before I started doing this video. But Mark Davis believes that the John Gruden email debacle was a hit. Now, I can go in here and I can find the article and I can read it to you. I don't really want to go and digging through all that and try to find it and read it to you guys. You guys can go find it online, but it's just the same thing that we've all been saying. There's a lot of us out there who've been wondering, man, this is actually kind of weird. They were supposed to be boys. You would have thought that Mark Davis would have went to bat for him a little bit harder than doing what he did, but I think he really just did Gruden a favor and let Gruden walk before it got any worse on him. I mean, here we are. It's only been 2 weeks. It's literally not even being talked about. It's hardly being talked about anymore within the nation because, winning cures everything. We're not really talking about it. If you ask anybody about it now, they're like, oh, hey, man, fuck John Gruden. I mean, that's it. There's nothing else outside of that. It's, man, I'm, just kind of shocked that he's gone. But, hey, at least we're winning. That's how I feel about it because I am shocked that he's gone. But I do believe that things happen for a reason. This could literally be Bisaccia's destiny. It really could. And John Gruden made enough money. I don't know the contract details. None of us really do because they never really specified the contract details. But I'm sure that wherever John Gruden went, he's going to be just fine. And here in about 2 months, we're not even going to be talking about this anymore. But do I believe that Mark Davis is right in this? Well, I don't normally follow the corporate crap. You know what I mean? Normally, if it's corporate, I'm like, You got to kind of look at it sideways because you got to kind of look at their ulterior motives because normally their ulterior motive is money. Some of the things that Mark Davis has done, he's done because he wanted to make his daddy proud. He also did it as a very savvy businessman, which you can't hate on the guy for making money. He just knows how to do it. That's what he's good at doing. He went and bought that WNBA team. I mean, I'm sure he's making money off of that too. He's probably invested in quite a few things that make him money. Can't hate the man for that. He invested a lot of money in John Gruden to bring this team to the promised land. And when this email debacle dropped, it was sometime in June or July during off-season, and the NFL didn't happen to get the emails or anything until that Friday before the game with the Bears. At least supposedly, that's when the Raiders received those emails. And then more emails drop on the following Monday after the Bears loss. Okay? And then they come out and sit there and say, oh, we're not going to look at any of the other emails. We're not going to let anybody else look at the other emails. There's 630,000 or some outrageously crazy number of emails that came out of that investigation that the Washington football team was put on. And you're telling me, you're telling us, you're telling Raider Nation, you're telling the world, you're telling Mark Davis that, hey, we're not looking at any of those other emails. Nobody, as a matter of fact, no, we did look at them. Nobody else said anything wrong in the emails that we were able to obtain. Just John Gruden. So you're telling me, out of 32 NFL football teams, a dominant corporate culture that's all about money and profits, okay, and stuck in their ways kind of deal. Now, look, NFL, we know the mask you're wearing, okay? You want to talk about equality. You want to talk about change. You want to talk about all the, okay, we're going to have women referees. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to change all that. That's cool and all. You're trying to change with the times. But when every single pretty much owner, all right, is still a part of the old guard that has been there for years on end. And I'm not even talking about Mark because Mark's actually new to all this. His daddy happened to run the team before. But a lot of these owners are in their 70s, 80s. Robert Kraft, You guys know where I'm going with this. You're telling me that with all these people, with the way they've always been and how they're stuck in their culture, didn't have any bad emails that were misogynistic, that, come on, Robert Kraft was going to a spa and nail place getting his dick touched. Are you serious? But there's no other bad proclaiming any type of derogatory emails that mark other people except for John Gruden. Man, I call bullshit. This is the Raider Critique. I'm Raider Riot Gun. I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. And I really do. I am so glad that I'm actually able to get on here and be able to do this. Because it does. I know that everybody gets, they're like, where the hell did he go? And I've got my own things that I'm going through, and the things that I had to go through and why I wasn't on here. There was a lot that went down that actually changed me as a person, and it changed, somewhat in certain aspects of how I think. And I do apologize for not being more consistent. I really do. I'm trying to be more consistent, and I'm trying to put up more content. The great thing about it is that there is a lot of content makers out there, even more now than there was when I was first doing this. And when I went on my hiatus about a year and a half ago. But, at least there is a bunch of content. There's a lot of people out there talking with OG Raider Nation, the quote-unquote mega fan, super fan. I know a lot of them don't like to be called that, but, the fans who go to every game, home game or away, they're always there. Dudes like Gorilla Rilla. They're getting more history channels out, more history about the Raiders out for the younger generation, so y'all can understand what we know already. It's especially, you go listen to Raiders Fan Radio, you get history from that channel. It's not just like coming here getting a game review. Those guys right there really know their Raiders, bro. They really know their Raider history. Go check them out. Go listen to it. And, you got to go through a lot of goofy stuff, too. But that's what makes it cool, man. And it kind of enlightens you. Doesn't make you take things so serious, because on losses, I've always taken things way too serious. I hate losing. And I hate it when we lose to division rivals. I'm just glad we didn't do it this week. And now we get to move on to the Eagles, who have, not a very good offense. And I'm going to be out with a pregame review. And of course, I'm going to drop the Tecmo Super Bowl prediction. I know you guys don't really like that. You don't really watch it. But I'm not going to play Madden, dude. I don't want to see the football go through my player and get intercepted. I already know all about Madden, man. Madden's been trash since 2010. It's been garbage ever since. So that's why you guys don't be seeing me on Xbox Live trying to play nobody in Madden. I went back to a game where at least I know that if it did glitch, it was because of the way we hacked it. So, it is what it is, man. And anyway, this has been the Raider Critique. I appreciate all y'all coming down here. And if this is your first time to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications for weekly content on the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I'm going to start with my next video. I'm going to be recording tomorrow. I will be on the phone testing my technology with Raider MC Square right here out of Texas. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the John Gruden situation before we move on and talk a little bit more about this game and this future of a season that we should have as this Las Vegas Raiders franchise. Until then, man, it's Raider Nation for life.